Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 767. The title of today's lesson is the difference between cumulative and accumulative. Okay, somebody wants a screenshot, do it now. Let's go right to it. Both terms mean that something increases or adds up over time. So there will be a lot of crossover with this one, where there could be situations where they could be used at the same time. But I'm going to give you some hints of when you're more likely to use one than the other. Okay. All right, here's another thing to note. As an adjective, cumulative may be a little more common than accumulative. However, as a verb, accumulate tends to be more common than cumulate. Okay. All right, cumulative refers to the growth or increase by successive additions. And, accumulate is that way too. However, cumulative tends to be used more in a passive way, or that something is happening in nature or on its own. So you may not be the one that is directly adding to it. Accumulative is more likely to be used to suggest one is purposely gathering or collecting something over time, especially a physical thing. All right, let's continue. Cumulative is more likely to be used with a word like effect. So the effect is the overall result that some situation happens, which you may not be able to purposely control. All right, so let's look at some examples here. The cumulative effect of heavy smoking eventually turned his lungs black. Now, in this case, you don't want to use accumulative because he doesn't want his lungs to turn black. It is true that he was doing the smoking, but this was an effect that happened due to his bad habit. So it just added up over time in that way. So in this case, cumulative would be much better than accumulative because you're not trying to do this. All right, here's another example. Cumulative compounded interest on his long-term CDs helped him to accumulate a lot of wealth. Okay, in this case, we're using the adjective cumulative and the verb accumulate to kind of give you a better feel here. Now, if you have a CD, certificate of deposit, this is a bank account, not the music. All right, so cumulative compounded interest on his long-term CDs helped him to accumulate a lot of wealth. So when he opened these, it was programmed for this to happen on its own. So the compounded interest is just, the bank's program doing it on its own. However, his goal was to accumulate wealth. So we especially use accumulate with things like money. You're trying to add up more money, or possibly a collection of something that you have. You're more likely to use like accumulate or accumulative. All right, let's continue. The cumulative demerits on his record got him suspended. All right, again, this is a situation, you're not trying to collect demerits. This is something that happens due to your bad behavior, and it just added up. You didn't really want it to add up. So in this case, we could use cumulative. His accumulative wealth over the years eventually turned him into a billionaire. Yeah, in this case, he wanted to build up more money, of course. So accumulative is actually better here. Their accumulative savings were eventually enough to buy a house. Yeah, for the same reason. It's to do with money. You're trying to save up the money to get a house. And the last one here, his accumulative finds eventually led to his collection of over 1,000 pieces. So this is with a collection. So you are purposely trying to collect it. Again, it's a physical thing. You're trying to go out and gather them and find them. Then accumulative is more common. Okay, I hope you got a better feel of when you might be more likely to choose one of these terms than the other. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.